Hello everyone, welcome back to my book channel. Today I am going to talk about a book. Name is The Treatment by Mo Hayder or Hayder. So uh, this is the second book from the Caffrey series, and Jack Caffrey is a detective. But this is my first novel from this author, and I am really impressed. By the way, see, there are some books that you read review of them before reading the book, and you find lots of positive reviews, and the book never reach that height. You like there is a scene in Game of Thrones where Olyana says to Tywin Lannister that there are very rare thing to see that a man live up to its reputation, because Tywin was actually living the living the flower house higher as a king's guard. So the house would end. But the first thing that came into my mind after reading this book is that the book actually live up to the expectation. There, the what the reviews are saying that it is disturbing and horrible and tragic, and it is all that. There is so much cruelty, so much like animal abuse and human abuse. Uh, Basically, this is uh, what we can say is the books actually precede its reputation. And again, I will say uh, we don't actually see lots of gore books because it is very difficult to actually write it, because in the movie or in the cinematic presentation you can actually show the blood and everything, but when it comes to book you have to write it, and when you are writing it does not land that way. So horror is always very difficult to write. uh, that's why when writing a horror, you have to make it in a way that it affect the reader. Like, uh, I had read a few horror books. I am not an expert in a horror thriller. Basically, I don't read any specific genre. I read everything and anything, whatever I get. But Stephen King is known as king of horror, or a popular writer in this genre. But I have read several of his books and they are not very good. So I have stopped. I don't read him anymore. I have read two or three books and then I realize that no, this is not horror. And and I read the Mara Dyer series by Rachel Hodkins. I guess the author's name was. My friend suggested it, but and it was not okay. Story wise, was not good. It was a romantic series basically. I mean, not much different from the vampire series. I mean, author just did what author did, replace the vampire with some, which is, but I was saying, the Maradar series has some snippets, uh, some pages and some scenes that are actually very terrifying. I was reading at 2 p.m., so I was actually afraid of some scenes. Uh, like there was a scene that the uh, antagonist was dead because they insulted a girl, and the girl was a witch, and it was a very very fearful scene in the book. But Stephen King does not get it. Maybe I have not read the right book from him, but then again, I have read more another writers too, which was also kind of you know mm, it was also the book cover said that it is a horror, that there is a supernatural things going on, there is a something going on in the house, but it again turns out it is not a horror. So I mean, in a literature, horror and thriller go hand in hand, because I mean, I also have read Lovecraft stories, and that are not. I mean, Lovecraft never said that is a horror. Lovecraft is a cosmic horror. Basically, what Lovecraft stories is about it is how insignificant a human could be. Uh, uh, if you have never read a Lovecraft stories, I will let me tell you. Uh, just imagine a aunt, or uh, a bug, or a very small insect you see roaming around your house, like a spider, or a mosquito, and from their perspective think how you would look like, and how would a mosquito actually go through if the mosquito realize that we are a real human beings, real species, then that living around them. I mean, for the mosquito, their world is the real world. They are like, okay, this water is our house, and we have to live for uh, whatever their life have. For us, the lifespan of a mosquito is uh, maybe 1 day or 2 day, but for the mosquito, it is the entire life. Uh, so to understand it, you have to understand that for the elves, uh, or for any species that lives for a longer life, for them this is that is their life, and all the other species that are living a shorter span of life is kind of, they can say, they are living the life at life as they are living. Basically, for the mosquito we are kind of god. They are like, the person is living for like 500 generation of mosquitoes, or like 1,000 generation of mosquitoes, and they were like, we don't mosquitoes can't even comprehend how big we are. So if somehow they get to understand, they get to realize that that how powerful we are, that we can just kill the mosquito like that, that for us mosquito does not seem to be a species that can actually relevant, or even impact us. And this is just an example. And similar to the cosmic terror by Lovecraftian, the ghosts, or the cosmic ghosts are what we are to the mosquito. So when a person realizes that, okay, they are such big thing that we are like a mosquito for them, we are does not even come on the scale to compete, or understand. We cannot even see them. They live in a different dimension, they have a different kind of life. So so in Lovecraft, what a man, a person could actually realize that okay, so there is this man, there is this god actually exists, and this is such a big god that we are so little, and they just lose their mind, like a mosquito would if they realize that what the humans are. So that is Lovecraftian horror, and it is a very different type of horror. So it actually learned at the time. It also, if you read it that way, it will also will fill you with a dread or insignificance, like what are we doing with. And then there are philosophical horror, which I am not going into the detail in this video. So we are going to talk about the treatment by Mo Hayder. So the book is again, uh, let let's talk about the story. So the story is very simple. Not, I would say very simple, but it is a detective story where there is a murder happen. They found uh, a man and woman tied in their house for like 5 days without food and water, so they are very dehydrated, and their son is gone missing. Detective try to search the you know uh, location around the house to find the boy, and then they found the boy, but the boy is already dead and everything. So there is so Jack Caffrey does anything and everything to find who is the murderer, or who is trying to do this, or to just protect the next victim. Because when such a crime happen, where such kind of cruelty happen, that where the where the uh, criminal is taking pleasure in doing the crime. They are, I mean, you can either kill the person directly, go and kill the person. That is a crime of passion, or crime of hate or revenge, or you are doing it for some accidentally. But then there are crime of pleasure where you are actually enjoying doing it. So when you enjoy doing the murder or enjoy the cruelty, you tend to do it again, because again it is like a drug. You have to do it again and again, again and again, to get that hit. Then the last book I read, which was the Without Turning Back by Tracy Buchanan, which was on the same script, about the crime of pleasure. And this is about again the crime of pleasure where the person is actually enjoying torturing the pupil. And I don't want to spoil the story. The climax is actually very, very disgusting. This is the type of book which you read and say, oh my god, this is very, what kind of book it is. You actually said it. So this is, and again, so I do not want to spoil the book. That's why I am not talking much about it. And about the writing, but I have to tell you that the book involves uh, child abuse, animal abuse, pedophilia, child pornography, and so much more cruelty. And again, what again another thing is interesting is the author. Mo Heather has a really, really exciting life, because when I was reading about the author, I mean, I picked the book because I searched it on the internet and I found that the author is dead due to some illness at a very young age, basically, or that the 57, and she has written so many books, so good books, and the writers were, oh my god, she's dead. So I thought, okay, I am going to read the book. It is only already my on myself, and I have to try the dead author. So I read it, and I the first 100 pages are kind of slow. You think what is going on, but that is a criminal investigation. Police investigation is always, you will not like reading a police investigation. So you get bored for some moments, because watching police, finding the clue and joining the clues, while you already know who is doing all of this. You already know what the person is doing, because you have the criminal's point of view. So it feels very stupid. Like, okay, you are always like, see, there is this clue, there is this clue. You do it, but the police does not know. So that again, create a issue for the reader. But again, and another thing is the how the personal matter the affect the affect the case solving capabilities of detective. There is the younger brother of the detective Jack Caffrey was gone missing when he was a kid, and he is always looking for him. And when he get the case where the young boy is gone missing, he kind of take it personally. He's like, not again, not this kind of case is going again. I have lost my brother, but I cannot lose this boy. But again, he lost the boy, and then it again set another thing in motion. And I mean, the detective is also not a very cool person. He's also doing lots of wrong thing, lots of bullying. But that kind of detective we like reading. Detective that go out of their way to solve the cases. Then there is another character arc that is going on with the wife of the Jack Caffrey. But that arc is continued from the first book. That is a Birdman. So I am also looking for a Birdman to read later, sometime later. So maybe I will understand what is happening with the wife, because I was not interested in that character arc at all. I mean, that entire story segment was very stupid to me, because I was not able to find it relevant to the story. Uh, so there is not much to discuss about this book. It is only for the shock value or disgusting value. There's nothing to enjoy in this book. But again, don't read it if you have a very if you get disturbed very easily. If you have a strong mind and you can take it all, then you read it, because it might it might trigger your anxieties or depression. So be safe, guys, before reading this book. That's all. And check other videos on my channel. If you like book reviews, you can also check my book blog in the description. Thank you.